years, I would say no. And the reason why is this. Naps, like caffeine and Benadryl, are supposed to be used strategically. So, for instance, I may have mentioned on Todd's podcast, there's a wonderful video you can use on YouTube. His name is Spudgy the Dog. And you look at Spudgy the Dog, and he absolutely falls asleep, and he doesn't know he's falling asleep. In fatigue, scientists' sleepy terms, it's called sleep pressure. In other words, your body is telling you, I'm cutting you off. There's no more wakefulness time for you. I'm putting you to sleep, and it's an unplanned event. When you get to that point, when you start feeling that, and that's the reason why this sleepy driving is so deadly. When you get to that point, it's time to take a nap, and that's when you take your nap. Strategic time to take a nap. That's when you're most tired. If you do it on a regular basis, the opportunity to destroy your regular sleeping hours at night is certainly there, and you start putting perturbations or disruptions into your normal sleep cycle. And so I would advise against it. Is it good for some folks? Yes. You become dependent upon that as anybody else.
Yeah. Would you say that the majority of our incidents that we might have inside of an organization in regards of, let's say, for instance, accidents, near misses, or so on, are related to fatigue then?
I would say it's a contributor. Okay. Related is another word. I would use the safety term as a contributor. It certainly can be a contributor, and it needs to be explored. Again, I'm not trying to say fatigue is the only thing.
Oh, no. And I don't want it to be referenced like I'm trying to go that way with it. I just want to...
No. I know you're not. I know you're not. But I want to emphasize that because, I'm sort of zealous about this. But the point is that I don't want it, when you see every problem as nailed, the only thing you have is a hammer. I don't want to look at that way.
So if people are interested in actually getting a hold of you and you actually being able to do, I guess, some research with them inside of their organization, are you kind of restricted into a particular area in the U.S., or you will go pretty much anywhere?
I'm pretty restricted right now. Most of the stuff I think can be done with minimal travel and virtual, because the organization I just did something on, I've published in several areas. Believe it or not, you can think this is nuts, but I published in a transportation magazine called Metro Magazine. I published in food safety. Believe it or not, I have a piece out in construction business owners, which I can share with you, and those are already published. And I've got a piece coming out in Powerline magazine, which is a utility magazine that utility companies frequently do. And then I've got this other piece coming out to this other organization. So what I did with them is I asked their safety. I said, I don't want specific, but give me what you can. I asked them these specific questions. And actually the piece that I wrote for them was actually a consultant piece. It was tucked as an article, but it was a consultant piece. I gave them a solution to their problem.
So when most organizations start actually jumping into this, or they start looking into this, and they realize that they have an issue, and they say, okay, let's go ahead and do a case study, how long does it normally take to get enough significant data back?
I do not know. I do not know. I think the idea here is that, so here's the idea. This is how I approach them. It's a holistic approach. The first thing I want to tell them is I'm not there to take over their safety department. I'm there to complement their safety department and hopefully lead their safety person as a mentor. So the first thing I want to do is I want to evaluate their current work schedules to find out what they are. They're going to see if they're going to have a problem or not. We can discuss that through that scientifically validated program, which I talked about. So that's the first thing. Then I want to meet with their safety person to find out what kinds of injuries they're having in regards to severity and probability of it. And then if I can, we need to devise a separate risk assessment system, just like ergonomics, inside their organization. And finally, we talked about employee training with regards to all training of all employees, to include the senior manager. So it's not necessarily a case study as it is as an operational type of report. I guess I put it better that way. So it's not going to be a case study. It's not going to take 8 months to a year. It's going to be pretty quick. And then the point is that, putting all the data together, I can pretty much tell them what's going on. The safety person will be the person that will give me the most information because they know the people and the culture best.
Okay. So, Joe, if people want to reach out to you, where can they actually get a hold of you at?
Well, I say the website is probably a good place, but you've taken a look at that, and unfortunately, that thing needs to be revamped a lot. They can get a hold of me on LinkedIn. Actually, LinkedIn is the best place to look at all the material we're discussing and even more, because all the stuff that I've published is on LinkedIn, and it's readily available for them and to them if they want it. I would suggest that they reach me at email or call me. That would be the best way. So the email is joe@humanfactorssafety.com. joe@humanfactorssafety.com, or call me directly at 719-355-6326. 719-355-6326 is the best way to do that.
Okay, so Joe, what I'll actually do then is I will actually, on our website, safetyfm.com, we'll go ahead and we'll put a backlink directly into, number one, your website. We'll also go ahead and reference your LinkedIn if you don't mind. That way it actually can be there. That way they can actually contact you. Now, I really do appreciate you actually coming on to the show today, and hopefully you did enjoy your time here at Safety FM.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
Join the fun on social media and find us on Facebook at Safety FM.